Have you ever wondered why a tiny piece of silicon, small enough to fit in your hand, suddenly became more valuable than oil in the eyes of the world's biggest companies? Today, governments are spending billions to secure it. CEOs are flying across continents to negotiate for it. Investors are betting entire fortunes on it, and one supply disruption could shake the global economy overnight. This isn't the story of smartphones. It isn't even the story of artificial intelligence. It's the story of the invisible machines powering everything in the global race to control them. Because whoever controls AI chips may shape the future of technology, business, and economic power for decades to come. To understand why these tiny processors became the center of a worldwide competition, we need to go back just a few years. For decades, computer chips quietly powered everyday life. They lived inside laptops, phones, cars, medical devices, and factory equipment. Most people never thought about them. They were simply another component hidden beneath metal and plastic. Then, something changed. Artificial intelligence stopped being a research project and became a commercial revolution. Companies suddenly wanted software that could understand language, generate images, write code, predict diseases, optimize logistics, and automate work that once required thousands of employees. But smarter software demanded far more computing power than traditional processors could provide. Training a modern AI model isn't like running a spreadsheet or opening a web browser. Imagine teaching a child by showing one picture every minute. Now imagine teaching millions of children simultaneously, every second, for months. That scale requires unimaginable computational power. Traditional CPUs were designed to complete many different tasks efficiently. AI required something different. It needed thousands of calculations happening at exactly the same time. Graphics processors, originally designed for video games, turned out to be surprisingly good at this. Companies realized these chips could train neural networks dramatically faster than conventional processors. Suddenly, GPUs were no longer gaming hardware. They became the engines of artificial intelligence. Demand exploded almost overnight. Every major technology company wanted thousands, then tens of thousands, soon hundreds of thousands. Cloud providers rushed to expand massive AI data centers. Startups raised billions to buy computing capacity before competitors could. Universities competed for limited hardware. Governments began viewing advanced chips as strategic national infrastructure rather than ordinary electronics. Supply simply couldn't keep up. Building advanced chips isn't like manufacturing shoes or smartphones. It requires factories that cost tens of billions of dollars, years of engineering, and manufacturing precision measured in atoms. Only a handful of facilities on Earth can produce the world's most advanced processors. Every stage depends on an extraordinarily complex international supply chain. Raw materials come from multiple continents. Manufacturing equipment comes from specialized suppliers. Design software is developed elsewhere. Packaging often happens in another country. Finally, the finished chips travel across oceans before reaching AI data centers. If even one critical link slows down, the entire chain feels the impact. As shortages intensified, prices climbed. Waiting lists grew longer. Companies began reserving production years in advance. Some startups discovered that obtaining computing power had become harder than raising investment itself. Investors noticed something remarkable. Businesses that supplied AI infrastructure, not just AI applications, were becoming incredibly valuable. The companies selling the picks and shovels during the AI gold rush were often making the most reliable profits. Markets rewarded businesses building processors, networking equipment, cooling systems, advanced memory, and cloud infrastructure. Entire industries suddenly benefited from one technological shift. But enormous opportunity also created enormous risk. Technology companies became increasingly dependent on a small number of suppliers. A factory delay, a shipping disruption, a geopolitical conflict, a natural disaster. Any one of these events could ripple through the global technology sector. Governments recognized that dependence as a national security issue. Countries launched massive investment programs to strengthen domestic semiconductor manufacturing. Export controls became more common. Industrial policy returned to center stage. Semiconductors were no longer just products, they had become strategic assets. Meanwhile, another competition was unfolding inside corporate boardrooms. Every major technology company faced the same question: should they continue buying chips from established suppliers or invest billions designing their own? Some believed custom hardware would reduce costs and improve performance. Others concluded purchasing existing processors remained the fastest path forward. Either way, spending accelerated. Data centers expanded faster than ever before. Electricity demand increased. Cooling technologies improved. Entire regions competed to attract AI infrastructure investments. What looked like a software revolution was quietly transforming construction, energy, logistics, manufacturing, finance, and global trade. The impact reached far beyond Silicon Valley. Banks began evaluating companies differently. Manufacturers redesigned production plans. Universities expanded semiconductor research. Governments negotiated technology partnerships once reserved for military alliances. Even businesses with no intention of building AI suddenly found themselves affected by rising infrastructure costs and changing competitive pressures. Yet history teaches an important lesson. Every technological boom creates both winners and losers. Railroads changed commerce. Electricity transformed manufacturing. The internet reshaped communication. Smartphones reinvented consumer behavior. AI may become another defining platform, but the companies creating lasting value won't necessarily be those making the loudest headlines. History often rewards the businesses building durable infrastructure rather than chasing temporary excitement. That is why experienced investors increasingly ask a different question. Instead of asking which chatbot will dominate the market, they ask who builds the factories, who designs the processors, who supplies the networking equipment, who provides the cloud infrastructure, who delivers the electricity, who enables the entire ecosystem to function. Because every technological revolution rests upon an invisible foundation. Today's foundation isn't software alone, it's silicon. Tiny processors manufactured with astonishing precision, hidden inside enormous data centers, quietly performing trillions of calculations every second, invisible to almost everyone, yet increasingly essential to nearly everything. The AI revolution may appear to be driven by algorithms, but beneath every breakthrough lies an extraordinary network of engineers, manufacturers, suppliers, logistics companies, energy providers, and semiconductor factories working together across the globe. The future of artificial intelligence won't be determined only by who writes the smartest software. It may ultimately be determined by who can build, manufacture, and deliver the world's most advanced chips. And that's why one of the biggest business stories of our time isn't happening on our screens. It's happening inside factories few people will ever visit, producing machines most people will never see, that are quietly shaping the future of the global economy. The next time you hear about a breakthrough in artificial intelligence, remember this: behind every intelligent answer is an invisible chip, and behind every chip is a global race that is only just beginning. If you enjoyed this documentary and want more stories about the hidden forces shaping business, technology, and the global economy, subscribe and join us for the next episode.